Hey everybody, Ryan here. I wanted to share with you a restorative practice to do at home. A lot of you guys have been requesting this, so here you go. This is going to be a little shorter one, kind of all body focus, like we'll get a little bit of everything. Okay? So we're going to start right away in a standing forward fold. So you separate your feet, catch the floor with the hands. It just ease yourself into the fold. There's no need to rush, and we'll just take our time through all these postures. And so I want you to kind of rock forward into the toes and then into the heels. So you're just working a little bit of weight front to back. So just some easy rocking, and then hands on the floor is fine. And then I want you to come to center and shift your weight to the left. Keep your feet grounded and then shift your weight to the right. And try to keep your heels lined up with the hips. And just ease yourself in the lateral plane. And this may feel a stretch up into like the top of the hip or QL. It's really nice. And then coming back to center very slow. If you need to keep using the floor for another few breaths, that's great. Otherwise, see if you can start to drop the head and shoulders and catch the elbows. We're going to hang here for about 7 breaths or so. And again, just kind of root down through the feet. Let the head be super heavy. And if you want a little bit of that upper body movement, great. If you want to be still, that's fine. And if it gets too intense, just come back to the hands, lift the head and chest a little bit. Sometimes the inversion is a lot to start, and you can just go back to some of that swaying, moving side to side. Okay, give it about 3 more breaths. All right, take a breath in, and as you exhale, let's see if you can settle the hips down. So coming to a deep squat position, like a malasana. And you're going to bring your hands to your heart center, and we're going to do a few rounds of this. So you're going to forward fold, just easy, slow, leave the feet apart, let the head relax. And just very slowly to the fingertips. Try to lengthen the spine and then sink the hips down. Okay, 2 more rounds. Hands to the floor, forward fold, exhale. Heads up, breathe in. And then hips all the way down. And if you can't get the heels down, if you're up on the toes, that's okay. And if you need the hands to stay down, that's okay too. Okay, last round, forward fold, empty. Okay, lift the head up, breathe in. And then sink the hips down. I know we can use this posture in many different practices in different ways. And so what I want you guys to work on here is to kind of reach the arms forward and rotate the palms up. And then you're going to take like a mini forward fold with the upper body. So sink into the heels, let the head relax. So you're letting the spine round. And almost like ragdoll, you're just letting the arms be super heavy and just kind of guide wherever they go. 3 breaths. If you want to add some lateral movement in the deep squat, as long as the joints are okay with that. Some simple easing side to side. All right, and then you're going to bring the head up slowly and support yourself in coming to a seated position. So in a cross-legged position, I'm going to face you guys, but you can just stay facing the same way. And first thing I want to do is just some very easy hip circles, make sure it's pain-free. And in that range of motion, you want to bring the head past the shins as much as you can, so extend out. You can round a little bit, kind of tuck, extend, and then we'll switch directions. back to center. If you need any kind of support for sitting, you can sit up on a bolster, a folded blanket, towel, blocks, like whatever you need to be comfortable. We're going to do a couple postures seated. So the first thing that I want you to do is stretch your arms out, like reach them out to that T position. And we're going to take the right hand to the floor and do some seated side bends. Left arm's up and over. And then we're going to switch. So left hand's down, right arm up and over. So again, we're going down into that low back, top of the hip. So yeah, just a few more times through. And then back to center. Okay, then I want to work a little bit of the neck. And so what we'll do from here is just make a fist, like leave it somewhat open, so kind of like this. And you're gonna reach this up and over just to the top of the ear. Bring your left hand to the floor and just very slowly pull the right ear towards the right shoulder. It's okay to use a little bit of core strength. And just pull the ear towards the shoulder. You don't need to be aggressive, almost just like the weight of your arm is enough stretch. And then come up. Switch sides, right fingers to the floor. Make that open fist and just come over to the left side. And we're dealing with kind of a smaller muscle group, so you don't need to be aggressive. Actually, like the easier you are, the better. Just a little bit of the weight of the arm, and you'll feel the stretch through the right side scalenes. And kind of keep this right hand heavy. And then back up to seated. So the breathing technique that we're going to use for the rest of the practice is just really free-form, easy breathing. I know there's different types of pranayama and breathing techniques, but for restorative practice, our philosophy is to just breathe easy, just kind of support the nervous system and not put a lot of demand on it in any way of capacity. And we never really want to hold the breath either in this type of practice. So the next thing that I want you to do is set up a bound angle position, which is Baddha Konasana. And you can have the feet, a little bit of space for the hips. And we're just going to do some spinal work. So I want you to inhale, lift the chest, look up. And then as you exhale, very slowly sit back, tuck the chin, open the shoulder blades. And then inhale, lift the chest. Try to look up. If you bring your teeth together and elevate the chin, you'll feel the front of the neck open. And then exhale. Tuck the chin, rounding. Inhale, coming up slow. And exhale. Okay, and then guide yourself back to a center position. You're going to take the right hand outside the left foot, like just to the top of the foot. Bring the elbow best you can towards the floor, and then press gently. So don't be aggressive here, but just gently. You can go close to the hip, out to the knee. It just depends on what you're working with. And then you can drop the head towards the ear or tuck the chin, but the weight of the body is going to the right. And you feel the opening in the left side. Just 2 more breaths. Okay, and then guide yourself back up, slow. Pause, you don't have to rush to the other side. Kind of shake the knees out a little bit. Again, if you are experiencing any pain in the knee or the foot joint, ankles, like feel free to support those joints with props, bolsters, blankets, blocks, whatever. Okay, let's do the other side. So I'm gonna hold the top of my right foot, bring the elbow towards the floor. If that doesn't work, you can come into the calf. And from here, I'm gonna lean a little bit. And it's okay to take these little micro movements. You know, sometimes I'll like walk the hand back a little bit, maybe forward towards the knee, and just try to search out that just the right spot to maximize the stretch. We're looking like back right QL. And then guide yourself back up slow. Okay, then we're gonna go to a cross leg position and rock over to a hands and knees. And feel free to add extra padding through a blanket or any kind of knee pads. And I want to work those circles again like we did seated, but now from all fours. So just nice and slow, circling around. You can tuck the tailbone, extend, so you can work flexion of the spine. Just any kind of free flowing movement that works for you. And then switch directions. And then centering back, reground the hands and feet. And then we're going to separate the knees a little bit and sink back down to child's pose position. You can let the forehead rest or chin rest, either way. Then I want you to try to bend the elbows and get some opening through the triceps and the shoulders. So I'm actually making it a little bit active by pressing the elbows down to help the shoulders flex and open the lat. Okay, 5 breaths here. Okay, carefully extend your arms and lift your chest and guide the knees back under the hips. And I'm going to have you step forward, bring the right foot between the hands. And so I'm going to come to a lizard position. So you can scooch the right foot out just a little bit and shift the hands to come to the inside of the right foot. And my goal is to get heavy through the pelvis and try to sink the front of the left hip down. And there's lots of variations of this and ways to do it. I'm sharing with you kind of my philosophy of it. And for me, I want to keep the right knee kind of snug into the right shoulder instead of letting this knee splay out. Because I want to target the psoas, and so I want to stay pretty straight. Let me give you one variation here if you want to curl the toes and lift the back knee and lift the chest at the same time for 3, 2, and then 1. Replace the knee down. And then I have some blocks here, and you can feel free to use a block. I'll show you like variations of that coming down. Setting the blocks up to bring the forearms down if your forearms don't go all the way to the floor. And I want you to think about projecting your chest and shoulders forward and allowing the hips to sink. Remember, the breath is just very freely, evenly flowing. About 3 more breaths. And then come back up to the hands, and if you did use props, just shift them beside. And then you could keep one block and put it to the right. And I want you to heel toe your right foot over to your left hand, and we'll settle the shin down for a half pigeon. And so if you need any props for the right hip, that's a high potential. If the right hip's not anchored down, you want to support it. And then I'll show you some mobilizations that you can work. So before you hold the stretch or hold the posture, I want you to get tall. And then on an exhale, just fold over the shin. Use the inhale to lift. And then exhale to fold again. And then back up slowly. From there, you're going to walk the hands over, just about a handprint or so, and then we'll repeat. So forward fold. And then our last one, I want you to come down to the left forearm. And sometimes what you can do is kind of hook up the right foot in the left forearm if it's available. If it's not, again, one option is you could slide a block between them so you can get the right foot to stay. And then I want you to stretch your right arm, kind of inch it out. And then bring your head towards your left hand. So again, I'm going to target the side body on the right side, the right QL, and deep into the hip and the piriformis, upper glute. Okay, 5 deep breaths there. No rush. Just start to get your hands back underneath you. Square yourself back to center and pause there for a moment. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then we're going to lean onto the right leg and draw both legs forward. Okay, so we're releasing that right knee. And so there's a couple options here. So we do a variation of Paschimottanasana. This I feel like is a very good, favorable, restorative version. So you're going to bring your arms underneath you and palms down with the knees bent. And then I'm just going to gradually slide my legs out and start to put some pressure, palms down if possible, and just start to put some pressure through the legs and then let the head drop. All right, give yourself another full round of breathing. And then guide the hands out and come back up to a tall spinal position. Okay. And then we'll cross the legs. And we'll get back to an all fours position. Now you can do some more circles or some cat-cow, but just a little bit of mobilization for the spine and pelvis. And then we'll venture into the other side. So left foot's going forward. And you're trying to let your body take a moment to open up the front of the right hip. Okay, then bring hands to the inside. Remember, for this, we want to keep a bit more engaged in terms of the left foot stamped down. And we're still looking for the good stacking and alignment because we are bearing body weight through the joints of the wrist and shoulders. Again, if you're interested, you could curl the back toes and get a little bit of up dog. Okay, not long for 3, 2, and then 1. Set the knee down. If you're going to incorporate props, and one of the ways to decide that is to see how your spine responds to the depth of the posture. So what I would want to be mindful of is that you don't round in order to go to the ground. If you choose to go to the floor, you keep a bit of extension and elevation, and you don't let the left knee splay out. If your neck gets tired and you want to support the head, you can bring a block into play here to keep the alignment. Okay, 2 breaths. So reconnect back to the hands, and then you're going to scoot your left hand outside and just crawl your foot over. And this may be different for everyone, so just take a moment to set up half pigeon on the left side. And for example, if this hip was lifted, I'd want to support that hip joint into being grounded and supported. Otherwise, you're going to put a lot of strain, and the muscles are actually going to be active more than relaxed. So we want to, the best of our ability, support the knee joint and the hip joint, the ankle joint, all being grounded. So just come up, get tall to start. Okay, we're going to work that idea of mobilization. So I'm staying tall, breathing in, and then exhale, folding. Inhale, exhale, and then up and down, and then back up. Okay, and then you're going to work the hands just a little bit to the right, and then we're going to do the mobilization again. Okay, inhale, lift, and then exhale. So you're trying to bring your sternum more over your foot. Back up. One more. Okay, then from here, we're going to go right forearm to the ground and take a bit of stretch through the left side body. Give yourself one more full round of breath, and then guide yourself back up slow. Again, all these postures, the deeper they are, maybe the slower the transition coming out of them. And they're all going to look different, so don't, hold yourself back. If you have the depth there and it's available to you, great. And if you need to back off, like the whole point of the practice is to listen to the body. Whether you're moving more with rhythm or you're doing these more slow practices. So that is what we want to work in terms of our active practice. Now we just want to do one more spinal twist, and then we'll take a rest. So spinal twist position. We're going to work onto the back. And you can take this one of two ways. The simple version is to just take the right knee, draw it across the body, allow the right hip and the spine to lift, but see if you can work back across the body and keep the shoulder down. You can add a little support here with the right hand or the left hand. Another variation, if you want to, would be to bind this foot. And I can still work this foot to the floor. And then what I want to do is try to traction, right? Do a little bit of external hip rotation to pull the hip away from the shoulder. And again, just like in the other twist, I'm trying to look to the right. If that bothers your neck, then keep more of a neutral spine, look up. But I'm looking for these anchor points. The right shoulder drawing down is key. And again, that rotation to extend the hip away from the shoulder. Okay, 5 full breaths. Maybe think about closing the eyes and just build that strong connection to the breath and the body. All right, fill up one more time. And exhale. As you exhale, you can bend the knee. Slowly come back to center. Catch the knees, squeeze in. And then release the right leg to meet the left. Again, it's your choice. So if you want to bend the knee and just take the twist over, you can hold on. And I want you to work the left arm stretching. And looking towards the thumb if you can. If the neck doesn't like that, then look straight up. Those of you interested can bind the foot and then peel the hip away. All right, give yourself one more deep breath in. Put a bend back in the knee as you exhale, come back to center. So let's get set up for a final resting position. It's a great recommendation for the nervous system to cover the body up. Not just for like heat purposes, but just for stimulation. So feel free to take a moment, cover your body up if it's available, and we'll rest for a few moments. All right, you can reconnect to the breath, add some subtle movement to the body. If you're covered, just slowly slide the cover off and bend your knees. You're going to roll to the right side, hug your arm underneath you. Take a moment there, pause. And press yourself up. And you come back to seated. Okay, there you go. I hope you guys feel better after that. It's good. You can use this at any time. Morning, afternoon, night, couple times a day, whatever you need. Yeah. I hope it brings you great fortune, and I hope you have a great day.